Because see, you don't get fulfillment. Write the word fulfillment. Fulfillment. Fulfillment, right? You don't get fulfillment until you get fulfillment. Fulfeelment. See, you got to get full of the feeling before you get full of the feeling.
Wow.
You got to feel blessed before you can get blessed. You got to feel rich before you can be rich. You gotta feel like a billionaire before you can be a billionaire. Touch your neighbor and say, you gotta become it in your mind first before it shows up in your experience last. So cosmic principle number 3, and we'll close here. What you think on will determine what you get. Say with me, what I think on will determine what I get. Say it again, what I think on will determine what I get. Make sure you have your book tomorrow night. I'm going to go deeper into this because I want to show you how Genesis 1 was just God creating in spirit. And Genesis 2 is God forming what He created by the Spirit. Because in Genesis 1, He says, let us make man. But in Genesis 2, He says there was no man. And sometimes God will give you money, but everything around you will say there is no money. He'll sit there and tell you, thus saith the Lord, erect this structure. They'll tell you that this thing costs $500 million. You sit there and say, you don't have that. And you there saying, I am that. And they're saying, but you don't possess that. Where is it at? And you're saying, I am that. It was like my son, one day Manasseh, my youngest son, 15, he's a prophet. Amen. He loves prophesying. One day he was 8 years old at the time, and he said to one of my housekeepers said, I may have told you the story. He said to the woman, he said, Sister Leslie, I know why you don't have your house. And she said, Manasseh, why don't I have a house? She said, because you keep saying I want a house.
Wow.
She said, well, I do, I want a house. He says, God doesn't hear I want a house. But see, the only thing want can create is more want.
Wow.
He said, the only thing God hears is I am that house. So about a year later, I brought one of my aromatherapy teachers to my home. He was telling me the story about what my little 8-year-old had said, now he's 9. And I thought that the teacher was going to just leave it and said it was cute, so he called my son to the side, Manasseh, and he says, Manasseh, how come God doesn't hear I want a house, He only hears I am that house? I got nervous because I didn't expect him to cross-examine my 9-year-old at the time. So you can imagine he was saying this at 9, you can imagine what he was doing at 15. He says, how come God doesn't hear I want a house but only I am a house? And he looked at the teacher in his eyes and he said, Pastor Cuffin, he says, because God